like to open things up just by asking that you elaborate a bit about yourself for those not familiar and some of your roles.
Sure. Yeah, my name's Nicolas Roye. Obviously I'm a voice actor. I guess known mostly for Apex Legends, playing the character Octane, Halo Infinite, playing the pilot, Echo-216, and then a number of anime. Bungo Stray Dogs, I play Chuya, Shisui Naruto. Go on forever. Jujutsu Kaisen, Tokyo Revengers, Baki. Yeah, that's what I do. And started out as a theater actor. Got into bit parts in movies and TV, and then I ended up getting into voiceover right around maybe 2008, something like that. And been a voiceover actor ever since.
When it comes to your approach to doing, say, something like anime versus something like gaming, how do you look at it? How do you do your role?
It's completely different. So anime, we don't get scripts ahead of time. You probably know all this stuff already. You just typically I get kind of offered a role or something like that from a studio that I work with a lot, and then you kind of just show up and figure it out. And some characters are kind of have like short stints, and some characters go on and on and on. Those characters you kind of there's a lot more involved there with these leading characters and stuff like that. But when you do like little one-offs and stuff like that, it feels like you just kind of show up and figure something out real quick, and then they send it out into the world. But with characters that are more leading characters, obviously you're kind of sculpting a personality that's hopefully gonna resonate with people and show a good side of your abilities as an actor. But yeah, it's different because anime, you're dubbing, obviously. When you're doing like American animation, you're actually creating something from scratch. So again, with anime, the Japanese already exists. They kind of have you listen to it. They most of the time want you to kind of match the tone a little bit or match the performance a little bit. And with American animation and creating characters in video games and stuff like that, you have a lot more leeway. You get to actually sculpt it from scratch. So hopefully you have enough tools in your belt as an actor to, be able to do something special and create these characters that people will hopefully end up liking. So,
when looking at Halo and Halo Infinite, were you familiar with the series going in, and were you given any prep work in getting ready for the role as the pilot?
Yeah, I was fairly familiar with it just because it existed for 20 years already, but I wasn't a player of Halo. That was a fun time. They actually, when they cast me as that character, they flew me out to Seattle and just had like a meeting with me to kind of pitch what Halo Infinite was going to be about, just kind of reimagining, kind of revamping of the Halo franchise. And they told me that this particular character that I was going to play was going to be a very, very human character, possibly the most human character they've ever brought to the franchise. So I was like, okay, yeah, this sounds great. This is what I'd love to be able to do, is add a human quality, a very human quality to the franchise. So, that was one of my favorite moments in my career, actually, was being able to do that, because it brought me back to my theater roots. Obviously being able to, I hadn't been able to like physically perform a character in a long, long time. So it was cool to, I was going back and forth to Seattle to the motion capture stage for like a year and a half, and I'd go there like a week at a time every month pretty much, and get to be like I was back in college theater again, man. It was a cool feeling. Great experience. And then, I really like the entirety of that game. I think it's a beautiful game. The storyline, I loved it. I loved being able to bring life to that character, and it was a blessing. Huge blessing.
So you play a very important foil to the Master Chief in the story. Your character really is a huge part of that game. Is this something where you see yourself being interested in continuing, if they're to do further Halo entries down the road?
Yeah, I want to. Tell them that it's, I think, I don't know if it's just a combination of the possible recession, everybody laying people off. It's a weird time right now, and the game had so many hurdles. I mean, as you know, from the beginning, that it was just like one thing after the other. And then I think they were just like, I think Microsoft was just like, we got to put the brakes on this. I don't know how many people they let go over at 343, but man, that was crushing. That crushed me when I saw all these people on Twitter that were like losing their jobs. And so I don't know where things are going to be, man. I'm down. I'm ready to go. And me and Bruce, who was the physical performer of Master Chief, we've been chatting with each other since we wrapped. And like, you heard anything? I haven't heard anything of you, and we've been waiting to find out. And then, to hear that the multiplayer is going to carry on, but they don't know what they're going to do with the storyline, this particular campaign. And we were just like, man, this kind of stinks, but we'll see. Keep the hope alive. So I'm waiting. I'm ready. I hope it happens.
That's awesome. So when you're going and you're doing these different roles, anime, gaming, what's it like to see yourself as a character in these universes, on the screen or in these games?
Sometimes it's cringy. That happened to me with Shingo in Sailor Moon. That was like one of my earliest characters. And, he's like this very young kid. And I was just like, oh, man, I don't even know if I like that, And then other times you're like, oh my God, man, that's, you'll have like, I've had times where I was just like, can't believe that they hired me for this. This is amazing. This is like a dream come true. Yeah, it's a mix of emotions. Sometimes you really are content with how you came across and what you did, and sometimes you're like a little iffy about it. It just depends, but yeah, I don't know the true answer to that. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. But thank God for the majority, man. I'm actually, I feel like I don't phone anything in. So I feel like most of the stuff that I've done, I was happy with the way it turned out. In the end.
Just to wrap things up, just one question. I'd like to leave a space for you to say anything you want, go over anything that what's going on with you.
Yeah, thanks. Season 3 of Spidey and His Amazing Friends right now. We're about halfway through it. It's one of Disney Junior's top shows. I love working on that. I got hired as the voice of. It's called what's it called? Damn it. It's gone through a couple different. Hey Disney. It's called Hey Disney. It was while I was working on it. It was called The Magical Companion, but they're rolling it out this year it's basically the Alexa voice of all Disneyland theme parks and hotels. So you'll be able to interact with it if you stay at a Disneyland Resort hotel, anywhere within the U.S. and outside of the U.S. at other Disneyland parks. I'll essentially be speaking to you. So let's say you stayed at a hotel. There'll be speakers in every room that you can communicate with, and you could ask it for towels to bring up to your room. Or if you're using the Magic Band at the park, you could speak to the Magic Band and say, like, hey, what's the wait time for the Winnie the Pooh ride? And then I will speak back to you and, give you the answer or whatever. So that's been a cool project I've been working on for years. A lot of hours of work on that one. Tokyo Revengers. I got to be careful what I'm saying. I think there's some things I can't say. And then Apex carries on. We were just working on a brand new trailer for Apex a few days ago, Mel and I. So I got a lot in the pipeline.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys.